Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Onyeka. Now, to the woman known as the Elegant Stallion, the actress, singer, rights activist and journalist Onyeka Onwenu, who for a time even ventured into politics, surely one of the most significant women of her generation in Nigeria. She died exactly a month ago today, on July the 30th, at the age of 72, after collapsing whilst performing at a birthday party. And today, even though she is one of Nigeria's most iconic entertainment figures, she was laid to rest in a relatively quiet ceremony in Lagos, in accordance with her wishes. But the epic sweep of her career over several decades continues to blaze like a roaring flame, evoking the highs and lows of being a talented female artist, journalist, and aspiring politician in a male-dominated country. The portrait of an amazing career full of towering achievements and bitter loss, tasted and tested again and again. Sought. And that's a rather long take on one of Onyeka Onwenu's classic songs there. Well, tonight as we celebrate the vast labyrinthine career of Onyeka Onwenu, one of Nigeria's most prolific artists and relentlessly interesting personalities, and joined now from our studios in Lagos by Patrick Doyle, who is a veteran broadcaster, and we're hoping to also connect to Miata Fambule, who's a very well-known international singer. I hope you can hear me, Patrick, because I know we've had a big problem with communications. Can you hear me at all there?
You're watching Arise, the world's standout news channel. Proudly independent for more than a decade. Always bold, always fresh. Winner of several awards, local and global. Winner of TV Channel of the Year from peers at the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria Awards. Winner of an Emmy from America's National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Still, we're changing the conversation to make sense of your world. We'll do it together, because now more than ever, you need a clear voice to guide you home. Arise News, awards, and beyond.
Welcome back to a rather fraught edition of Arise Prime Time, and with me in Lagos is the veteran Nigerian broadcaster Patrick Doyle. Patrick, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and I hope you can hear me now, because I'm told that you finally got comms in Lagos. I do apologize for the difficulty in getting the communications going there. But you didn't attend the funeral today. I know that Miata did. Miata Fambule, who's the other person we're hoping to reach, but she can't hear us, so let's stick with you for the moment. And let me ask you how you got to know Onyeka Onwenu.
I got to know Onyeka the same way practically everybody in Nigeria got to hear about her. Onyeka came into my consciousness with the epic documentary that she anchored for the BBC, The Squandering of Riches. And it was at that point that she came into our consciousness. But because I have some affinity with the music industry, as she entered the music industry also, she registered in my consciousness as a really, really fresh talent in the music industry. And I was, as you well know, at that time I was with the radio and I was already in broadcasting, so she was a breath of fresh air when she entered into the music industry, introduced by Sonny Okosun, who produced her first musical works. But her epic performance and that documentary, Squandering of Riches, really brought her into my consciousness, and I believe the consciousness of most Nigerians.
Absolutely. I mean, it would be fair to say that that documentary exploded onto the scene in the early 1980s because it was not only run on the BBC, which made it international, but I mean, it was run in Nigeria, and it came just after a military coup in this country, and a military coup that was justified by the people who carried out the coup as a way of stopping the squandering of riches, which is why it was called that. But I mean, did you ever get to know her on a personal level?
Indeed, I got to know her on a personal level. And I actually collaborated with her on a couple of important projects. One of which was her 60th birthday that myself and my dear friend Tony Okoroji actually organized and executed when she was 60. And that was also the celebration of, I believe, her 25th anniversary in the music industry at the time. So, and again, I collaborated with her when we all went to Liberia. I produced a musical concert, as it were, in Liberia, and she was one of the female artists. It was the Women's Conference. It was an international United Nations Women's Conference where female artists from all over Africa were invited, and they participated in a concert, and I was one of the producers of that concert. So myself and Onyeka formed, if you like, the Nigerian contingent to that epoch-making international conference, which was organized in Liberia when Helen Sirleaf was president of Liberia.
Well, absolutely. And of course, Miata Fambule, who was supposed to have joined you tonight, but who unfortunately has not, we haven't been able to restore her earpiece in the studio. I mean, Miata is from Liberia, and I would have thought that, you know, she would have had quite a lot to say, because, I mean, she came from abroad to be here for Onyeka's funeral. But, I mean, Onyeka spent more than 40 years in entertainment. But we also know that beyond being just an entertainer, I mean, I don't mean just, I mean beyond being a very significant entertainer, she fought very strongly for the rights of musicians and for them to be paid what they feel they earned but were being denied. I wonder if you can hear me. You look a bit alarmed there, like you can't sort of make out what I'm saying to you.
Oh, no, okay. No, what I was alarmed about was the fact that Miata is actually in the studio, seated next to me. But talking about Onyeka and her, Onyeka had what I'd like to call an overdose of dignity. She was a woman who took dignity very important. She was very, very big on respect. Very, very big on, and as you well know, there's an activist side to Onyeka where she likes to stand up for the common good. So it's not surprising that she was at the vanguard of ensuring that creatives get their just desserts from the work that they do, which is why she was big on the intellectual property scene in Nigeria. So it's in keeping with her personality. Her personality is one that is, as I said, big on dignity and respect, and big on defending the rights of people. And in this case, defending the rights of artists and making sure that they're adequately compensated for their work.
Yes, I mean, I think it's absolutely astonishing, because I heard an interview that she did, and of course I've interviewed her. She appeared on one of the program that I was anchoring a couple of years ago. But I mean, it's amazing listening to her at one point saying that her song, One Love, which was very, very popular, that she never made any money out of it, but it made money for other people because, of course, it was a monster hit.
That's astonishing, as you said. That's the word to use. It's astonishing in the sense that here is a lady who had a first-rate education, and ordinarily would have been able to, as it were, decipher the fine print of a contract. And it speaks to the ingenuity of the recording companies of the time who exploited local talent and in whatever way caused them not to be able to reap the rewards of their creativity. So it just speaks to how cunning, if you like, those recording companies, and as you well know, those recording companies at that time were outposts of foreign multinational record labels. So, but as I said, it is astonishing that they did that to her at that time, which might inform the reason why she put herself at the vanguard of ensuring that Nigerian artists get their just reward for their creativity.
Indeed, but of course, beyond music, she also made her mark on Nollywood, didn't she? And at the higher end, I mean, she starred in movies like Half of a Yellow Sun.
No, she didn't start with Half of a Yellow Sun. Half of a Yellow Sun, it was right smack in the middle of her Nollywood career. However, she started with women's, a few of the, what we call at the time, we call local Nollywood movies with women's cut. That was, I think, that was the big hit that she did in Nollywood. But Onyeka, I'd like to say that Onyeka has managed to cheat us in the broadcasting profession, because she came into the broadcasting profession with a bang with that epic documentary. Her stay in NTA, she was a stellar news personality on NTA, and all of a sudden she just abandoned all of that and went into music. And she gets into the music industry, makes a big bang in the music industry. The next thing you know, she's more or less like withdrawn from the music industry, and she goes into the movie industry and does well. So Onyeka was a rolling stone that gathered moss in every bus stop that she found herself.
And I mean, we talked about the challenges that she faced in this country, like any other sort of artist who was trying to make it sort of in Nigeria. But it would be fair to say that she really loved this country, didn't she? I mean, she chose to stay here in spite of all the things that she had done and the access she had with the BBC and so on. I mean, she felt she had to be here, if you like, to help chase the clouds away.
As I said, Onyeka is someone who has an abundance of dignity. She was a principled person in that regard, and I believe that her dignity was what kept her in this country, and you could see that at no time was Onyeka quiet. Every time there was a reason for a voice to be heard, she made sure that her voice was heard. So she was a patriot, there's no doubt about that. And also, you recall that she had children. She had 2 sons, and I think that when you become a parent, the urge to roll on or jackpot is curtailed, and I think that that kept her grounded here, being a mother, and also the fact that she had become something of an icon and a role model for many of the young women in Nigeria. I think that when you have that type of responsibility, the urge to just up and go away is curtailed.
So here we have a woman who was a champion for the rights of entertainers, the rights of the poor, the rights of women, and indeed all Nigerians who were getting the short end of the stick. I mean, what do you think should be her epitaph?
I think Onyeka's life, if I was going to write an epitaph for her, I would say, here lies Onyeka, a woman who put a value on the dignity of women and who refused to bow to the system that, to bow to the system. That's it. A woman with an abundance of dignity and who ensured that women were respected.
Well, Patrick, I want to thank you very much indeed, and I'm sure she'll be grateful to you as well, wherever she is at the moment. Patrick Doyle is a veteran broadcaster, and I have to apologize profusely to Miata Fambule, who is sitting there in the studio with you, but who unfortunately the communications between her and the Abuja studio just was not working, and so we couldn't get her on, and she made that effort, but we appreciate her coming over. Thank you very much indeed to both of you for helping us to remember one of Nigeria's most prolific artists, Onyeka Onwenu. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again next week from me and the entire team here in Abuja and Lagos. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.